Kaya kapong-kapong, murang atang-tong-takong, dalag sa makita. Kung sabog-sabog, 1, 2, 3. Asok karap, 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 1, 2, 3. Sayaw mga joy, 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 mga joy, 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 sayaw mga mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 sayaw mga choy, 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 mga choy, 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 mga choy, tukoy, koy, 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 mga toy, tukoy, tukoy, koy, 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 mga toy, tukoy, koy, 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 mga toy, tukoy, koy, 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 sayaw mga toy, tukoy, koy, 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 mga toy, tukoy, koy, 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 mga toy. One, two, three. Sayaw mga toy. Toy, 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 toy. Mga toy. Toy, 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 toy. Sayaw mga toy. Toy, 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 toy. Mga toy. Toy, 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 toy. Mga toy. Sa pakita, sabog-sabog, 1, 2, 3. Sayaw mga toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 sayaw mga toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy.
DJ.
Sayaw mga toy. Sayaw mga toy. Toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 toy. Sayaw mga toy. Toy, 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 mga toy. Tuk, 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 toy, 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 mga toy. Sa pakita, sabog-sabog, 1, 2, 3. Pasok harap, 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 1, 2, 3. Sayaw mga toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy, 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 toy. Sayaw mga toy, tuk, tuk, toy, 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 mga toy, tuk, 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 toy. mga joy, 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 mga joy, 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 mga joy, 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 sayaw mga joy, 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 mga joy, 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 mga joy.
a guided meditation video in your living room, but now you're taking your practice outdoors. Find mindfulness on and a guided meditation.
You want the best of my heart, you just gotta see the good in me.
Find mindfulness.
Be the rain, you're the sky. You want the best of my heart, you just broken out the pieces I've been shaping lately. Focused on the things that didn't make no sense. It's like growing up, staying meant to be easy. Yeah, I got used to doing everything sideways. Didn't really care about how anyone felt. Hiding my emotions, telling just to run out. Yeah, I got used to living like a slave. No use, face, just let it go. 'Cause it's a part of you that won't make you wrong. Break your heart. I'm not gonna fight back what I've become. Yeah, I got the bruises where I came from, but I wouldn't change it. But restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful skies. I've been going way too out of myself. Guess that is the reason I've been feeling like hell. But I wouldn't change it. But restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful skies. I went down a road that only got me nowhere. I've seen every corner, every inch of this place. Being all alone, it really got me thinking. Maybe overthinking that what is lost in time. No use playing, just let go. 'Cause it's about you that will make you strong. Embrace your pride. I'm not gonna fight back what I've become. Yeah, I got bruises where I came from, but I wouldn't change it. But restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful skies. I've been going way too out of myself. Guess that is the reason I've been feeling like hell. But I wouldn't change it. But restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful skies. This year I've been refused to take these got tears. Trust me, darling. Trust me, darling. Look me in the eye. Tell me what you see. Perfect paradise. Tearing at the seams. I wish I could escape. I don't wanna beg. Wish I could erase. Think that I believe that I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know. Now you know. I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know. DJ Jordan. Look me in the eyes, tell me what you see. Perfect paradise, tearing at the seams. I wish I could escape. I don't want to beg. Wish I could erase it. Think that I believe that I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know. Now you know. I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know. You're free to go.
Soaring prices, massive shortages. What's next? Hi, I'm Chris Hurt here, and if you're like most people, you may have noticed some strange things popping up in the news. Because once again, the word crisis is being thrown around. But yet, this is unlike anything we've seen. Major automakers from GM to Toyota are shutting down their factories. Analysts are warning that Christmas, as we know it, may not happen this year. And massive food distributor Cisco says it's going to have trouble stocking grocery store shelves. And this is not because of a recession, and it's not because of a virus, and not because of a new lockdown or war, but in fact, the very opposite. A new threat which could soon cause empty shelves as far as the eye can see. What exactly is going on? You're an investor, you own a home or a business, and you're retired, or you plan to retire anytime soon. It's important that you pay close attention because according to our guest today, the choices you make with your money right now will decide which side of this story you end up on. As you'll see, the last time this happened, investors lost as much as 90% of their money, while the few who knew what was happening and what to do, they had the chance to make 30 times their money in a single year. What exactly is going on? How can you protect yourself and profit? Well, fortunately, we have just the man to help us figure it all out. Jeff Brown, thank you so much for being with us.
Chris, thanks so much. It is great to be here. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're glad to be with you as well. Folks, if you haven't met Jeff before, he is one of the most trusted tech minds in America. I've met dozens of distinguished guests throughout my television career, and I can say unequivocally that Jeff has made more big calls in the tech market than probably anyone. I hope you don't mind. Can I take a moment to share a bit of your story here? Okay, this is fun. All right, this is good stuff. Jeff Brown, first of all, is an angel investor, which means he backs early stage tech startups. He's done over 230 deals in the world of private technology. He was an early investor in America's largest cryptocurrency exchange, for example, Coinbase, years before it was public. For decades, he also worked as a senior executive at two of the top tech companies in the world. And since 2015, he's been sharing insights with a network of nearly 1.5 million years. Covered Tesla in 2018 when its stock was still trading at a split just at $59. That's before it soared over 1,400%. Jeff told anyone who would listen to buy Bitcoin when it was just $240. And the folks who did, they had a chance to make 270 times their money. Jeff was writing about 5G long before 5G phones. His firm predicted the dot-com crash in 2000, the housing bubble in 2008, and he has also served in our nation's capital as a member of the Chamber of Digital Commerce in Washington, D.C. Today, he is the founder and editor of one of the most widely read financial research firms in the world, that is Brownstone Research. And we really could not have had it with us at a better time right now because our world is getting crazy, Jeff. Is that fair to say?
Crazy is one word for it. Yes, and that's definitely putting it lightly. And for many people, life is going to get much more strange in the weeks ahead. For investors, as you said, it's very good if you know what's happening there or very bad.
Well, given your track record, Jeff, I would encourage viewers to pay close attention because chances are listening to you is it's going to work out very good.
Well, I am certainly proud of our work, but I'd like to make something very clear. The story I'd like to share with you today, Chris, it's actually not a prediction. This is happening as we speak. The shortages we're seeing today, the soaring prices, the sold out signs, to most people it makes no sense at all. But as a former executive of companies like Qualcomm and Semiconductor, I have seen it happen several times before, each with the same result. So I can tell you with 100% certainty what is happening and what's likely to happen next.
Now, to be fair, this is not just you saying this. I mean, even President Biden seems concerned about it, right?
Well, sure, the president, heads of state, many other countries too, executives, researchers, news outlets, everyone seems to agree. Top tech firms in America all say this is crucial to the technologies today and tomorrow. Those are their exact words, which is why they just signed an urgent letter to Congress, practically begging them to say.
Wait, I want to make sure I heard you right. Every major tech company, all on the same page.
That's right. Every company that matters is on this list.
So, yeah, Amazon, Apple, General Electric, Google. Wow, I see what you're saying. These are all household names. But now, what are they all so worried about specifically? And secondly, how can our viewers out there at home put themselves on the right side of this crisis?
Well, for starters, we've got to be a little curious. We've got to start asking questions and not just accepting what the media tells us. Because the last time this happened, the result of the Nord Stream, some investors made 30 times their money while others lost almost everything.
It seems to me that the stakes are they couldn't be much higher. So where do we begin?
Well, the first step for us is to gain a simple understanding of what's actually going on and why it matters. This alone will put us far ahead of the pack. By the time we wrap up today, I promise, you'll see the signs around you. So when the rest of the world freaks out, you won't panic. You'll know precisely what's happening and what it means for you. And then, once you get the big picture, I'll share what I think is your money. So what I'd like to do is show a few specific moves your people can make today to protect themselves and
Sounds terrific, folks. If you're coming in a little bit late, we are talking with Jeff Brown today. This is a man who served as a senior executive at two of the top tech firms in the world, and he's here now to share his next message, which is a new crisis is rippling across the world right now. And history suggests that if you have money in the stock market, it could either bring you incredible wealth if you move today, or in the worst case scenario, it's possible you could lose everything. Now, Jeff, you have a particular name for this event. You're calling it an attack shot, right? And this is something unique. It's not the sort of event that most of our viewers have seen. Right?
Well, right, and for good reason. This has nothing to do with any pandemic or natural disaster. I'm not talking about a shutdown, a lockdown, or a quarantine. We really haven't seen an event of this magnitude since the famous oil shock of the 1970s, which, remember, was also a supply shock.
I do remember. I was just a kid back then, but I do remember the huge lines getting gas from the car, stations running dry. So this tech shock that's coming, do you think this could be just as bad, maybe worse?
Well, without a doubt, yes, because this crisis hinges on a single piece of technology that is critical to every electronic device we touch. Most people, it's not obvious like gasoline. You won't see lines of people waiting to get their hands on it. Not yet. Until now, it's been largely visible to the public, but that's about to change. Don't hurry.
Invisible? How so?
This technology is literally out of sight and therefore out of mind. And yet, when you grasp its power, you'll see it all around us, every moment of every day. Without it, our modern life would grind to a halt. Dozens of entire industries. Everything from satellite communications to concrete and steel manufacturing to farm machinery to rather than explain what it is. How about I just show you? I have it right here.
That would be great. Let's see it.
Well, I'm sure you've been wondering what single piece of technology can matter so much that it has the U.S. President, Apple Computer, plus major retail and grocery stores all in it. That would be great. And it's this Times Square. As you can see, it's much smaller than the tip of a finger.
I see that. It is tiny indeed.
And though it may not look like much, this single piece of technology controls the entire world.
Wow. Okay, so what exactly are we looking at here?
This thing right here on the tip of my finger is something called a semiconductor, otherwise known as a computer chip. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, this tiny tech is all around us in any number of ways. Your phones, your laptop, your television and coffee pot, your washing machine, and even the oven. Tractors driven by the farmers growing our food, to the ventilators at our local hospitals, to the missile detection system monitored by Air Force personnel. Every single one of those devices is controlled by this tiny piece of technology. Get this, there are 3,000 of them in a typical modern car, thousands more in the average fighter jet. And as you may have noticed, there's one big problem.
And that would be?
Well, for all intents and purposes, we've run out of them. Now, I'm sure you've seen these headlines. The Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Bloomberg, Forbes, Business Insider, the Harvard Business Review, and every other major news outlet in the world agree. We are in the midst of a global computer shortage. As The Guardian puts it, the global shortage of computer chips has reached a crisis point. Intel says this shortage could last for, and I quote, several years.
Right. So this tech shock is about computer chips. I think I'm starting to see where you're going with this. But now, where exactly does the shock part of Intel play?
Well, Chris, we're entering a kind of supply shock unlike anything we've seen before. It may not be obvious to most people, but the effects are popping up everywhere. The most obvious one is this: tech companies can't produce enough consumer products to meet demand. iPhones, tablets, laptops, the latest Xbox and PlayStation 5s, refrigerators, washing machines, alarm clocks, you name it, it's getting harder to manufacture, which for shoppers means harder to find at the store and more expensive to find. In a large part because the largest semiconductor company in the world just jacked up prices by 20%, an unprecedented move.
Wow. Well, it's no secret that prices have been rising at the fastest pace in decades. I think we're all beginning to feel the pinch, so to speak. Now, you say it's largely due to these chips, which are in short supply. That is specifically not something that has been rising.
Well, it's everywhere, and it's actually unavoidable. And you're going to be hearing much more about this in the weeks ahead. Just recently, Tesla had to rewrite the code in its cars to reuse old chips because they literally couldn't find new ones. Their home solar power system, the Powerwall, is being stamped by this chip shortage too.
Wow. Tesla cars, Powerwall, you've got AI, EVs, and solar power all being hit by this at once. I'm curious, how's Elon Musk taking it all?
Not well at all. He calls it Tesla's biggest challenge. Imagine that. And says he's never seen anything like it. And that's just one company, Chris. Look at what's happening to the traditional automotive. Not well at all. 2,000 of these chips. That's the typical car. 3,000 that's average. Do you know how many of them need to be missing before production on a car is halted?
I have no idea. I don't know, maybe 100.
It's one. The answer is one. Making a car is much like making a cake. You can't bake the cake and add the eggs afterwards. The car takes 3,000 chips and you're missing just one kind of them. That car can literally not be manufactured. The production line stops until the company has every single truck.
Amazing. So this really explains why it's hard to find a new pickup truck these days. And GM, for example, I know, kind of alluded to this, they have shut down every single one of their pickup truck plants due to this chip shortage. These car prices are soaring. Is this to do with the shortage and the production holdup that you're talking about?
Yes, that's buying a car, driving it for a few years, and selling it for profit. Imagine that. Normally, that's impossible. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. Thanks to the chip shortage, it's becoming normal. Used cars, in many cases, are selling for more than when they were new.
Jeff, that is, I'm sorry to interrupt, that is crazy. Because you and I both, everybody knows, normally when you drive a car on the block, it instantly loses value.
It is crazy. But when you understand what's actually happening, it actually makes sense. Used cars are more expensive because they're ready, they're real, they're running. It's simply supply and demand. Consumers want the cars, they need them, but there's literally no supply. And for the big automakers, this is catastrophic. Ford's profits are cut in half this year, because they can't assemble their vehicles. It's getting so bad. You can see all of their unfinished cars literally from space. As Barron's puts it, this shortage is killing car stock.
Okay. I think I understand now how this is hitting consumer tech cars. But again, think about this. Most people don't have to buy a car all that often, right? I love my iPhone, but I'm not planning to upgrade that. I get it. So I understand why there's a price for GM and maybe a heading to Tesla and Apple. But why is it that you're saying this is the prices for the rest of us?
Well, look, Chris, I could sit here for hours and walk you through the entire ripple effect of a situation like this. But the simplest way to say it is this. Without a sufficient supply of computer chips, the modern military doesn't even exist. It doesn't even function. Just about everything from the safety of our streets and homes to the items stocked at our local grocery stores to the millions of items filling Amazon's warehouses, it all relies on semiconductors, on computer chips. And unfortunately, we gave it all away.
What do you mean by gave it away?
Well, to Asia, to places like South Korea and China and Singapore. The vast majority of these chips are now produced overseas. In fact, one company based in Taiwan produces 50% of them. So here in the U.S., we've completely disbanded most of our semiconductor manufacturing production. It's just about gone. China understands this. Their government is pumping billions of dollars into local chip companies to secure the interests of their country, their infrastructure, and of course, their military. The EU, South Korea, they're doing the same thing. And finally, so is the United States. As Vox writes, the White House is racing to expand chip manufacturing. But here's the issue. It's going to take years. You can't just wave a magic wand and produce more of these chips overnight.
Right. I need to go back again. I think you mentioned Taiwan. Did you say Taiwan? That's the island that China, as we all know, is threatening to take over at any moment. You're telling us Taiwan produces the majority of the chip vaccine.
Yes. Can you imagine how dangerous this would be to our national security and how difficult life would be if they cut us off, so to speak? Imagine not being able to replace your air conditioning in the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees outside. Imagine your stovetop goes out and you microwave your food for 6 months. You go to the hospital and they have no cardiac equipment. This will be a disaster of epic proportions, and not just for the U.S., but for the entire world. Now, I'm not going to say that this will happen, though it could, but even if nothing goes wrong, this shortage we're seeing today, it's not a temporary inconvenience or some kind of passive trend. It might drag on for years. and it will ripple through our economy in surprising ways, catching most people off guard. I know one multimillionaire who's so concerned, he's renting storage space, and he's filling it with items that could become scarce in the weeks ahead. Now, for most people, that's simply not practical, but it's critical. If you pay attention, the worst thing that we can do at a time like this is nothing. Get ready for a major tech shock, the deep, unexpected shortage of the modern economy's lifeblood.
Well, I have to tell you, Jeff, I am glad we now understand the root of this crisis. I'm not sure you're making it better about it at this point. My impression is that it seems like, I'm sure, well, we're in big trouble. And it sounds like it could get much worse before it gets any better. Now, a moment ago, you did mention that you actually lived through several chip shortages in the past. You worked in the heart of the chip making world in Asia. I know you were an executive, one of the decision makers at the top of the two companies that make these chips. So I'm curious, could you share a bit more about what you learned on the inside and please tell us what may happen next?
I did. I lived and worked in Asia for more than 2 decades. I've been to Taiwan and Singapore both more than 100 times, working in the semiconductor industry for companies like Qualcomm and NXP Semiconductors. I also lived in San Diego and worked in the corporate headquarters of Qualcomm as well.
Right, and just for reference out there, those are among the largest chip makers in the entire world today, right?
Well, speaking of Qualcomm, it was ground zero for the previous tech shock back in 1999. Now, what do you think about right away when I say tech in 1999?
First thing is Y2K, ground.com, and the crash that hit right after.
Exactly. And that's what most investors think about when they hear 1999, but not me. Chris, can you picture shares of Amazon, Facebook, or Google collapsing 90%? That's what most investors think.
That's coming.
Well, it's almost unthinkable, right? But when the last tech shock hit in 1999, that is exactly what happened. Do you remember Motorola?
Motorola, an old cell phone company, right? Yeah.
Right. Most people know Motorola makes cell phones and how they were one of the most prominent tech companies in the world. And back in 1999, cell phones weren't the most important part of Motorola's business. Their bread and butter was computer chips, including the G4 chip, which powered Apple's Pocket computer. At that time, Motorola was in an enviable position. It was the sole supplier of chips for Apple, but then its deal fell through.
It's amazing. We don't talk much about Motorola anymore, do we?
Well, today, according to Forbes, Motorola is a shell of its former self. CNN is more blunt, writing, quote, Motorola is dead. But if that deal with Apple had held, it might be a deal today's story. Every iPhone and iPad today could have been held by Motorola.
Sounds like somebody made a big mistake there. What happened?
Well, back in 1999, a massive chip shortage hit, much like what we're seeing today. And if you paid attention to the headlines, you might have been tricked into believing it was a good thing. Motorola officials said they were thrilled with the overwhelming and positive response.
Well, I would agree. That sounds like it would be good for business. You've got more demand than you can compete, right?
Well, it's better than selling nothing, that's for sure. Steve Jobs and the rest of Apple Computer, they were furious. Jobs went so far as to call Motorola's statement crazy. Who can blame him? Apple received about 150,000 orders for their new G4 Mac, but could not build them without the chips from Motorola. And it won't get yesterday.
Well, Apple started shopping.
Precisely, Apple reached out to dozens of other chip suppliers and slammed the door on Motorola and its investors. Long story short, if you had purchased Motorola stock in 1999 at its peak, before it lost its exclusive deal with Apple, you would have lost nearly every cent over the next year. All because of the chip, all because of the chip.
So, in other words, $10,000 in Motorola stock, when it appeared to be a can't miss opportunity, would have been worth only about $700.
Yes, like I said, investors lost 90% of their money, which brings us to today. This year, the same story is playing out. Only now, the problem is much bigger, more widespread, and far more destructive than what happened to Motorola in 1999. Because once again, it will surprise millions of investors. And that is why I call this a shock.
Well, this doesn't sound good.
Well, before you get too worried, keep in mind Motorola's downfall and the money, investors, and loss is just one half of the story. The other half is the fortunes that
This
rose
doesn't sound good.
from the tech shock. Before you get too worried, Qualcomm not only survived the tech shock of '91, but it thrived. It went on to become a top Apple supplier, and it's still one of the largest chip makers in the world today. Take a look. We bought Qualcomm in 1999 instead of Motorola. Would have made 30 times. 10 years, not in 5 years, but get this, in one single year.
Wow, amazing. So to recap this, one group of investors lost 90% of their money. Another group makes 30 times their money. Big difference. Why such a big difference? Why so huge?
I've seen it happen over and over again. The same thing happened again in 1988. The news from March of that year read, shortage of memory chips. Big Dad's why suddenly, due to a massive shortage, chip prices in America tripled in a matter of months. Assembly lines were slowed, product launches were delayed, consumers suddenly had to pay soaring prices for chip products.
So it does sound like it was not a tech shock.
Yes, similar to what we're facing today. And of course, this was in the 1980s when it wasn't such a big part of the market for our lives. But as you can see, the same pattern played out, and the few companies who were ready for this and acted to it. We saw tremendous results. When I say few, I mean it. One of the two companies in the entire country still producing the most needed chips by the time the shortage hit. One was Micron Technology. It used to be known by the mainstream press as, and I quote, tiny. That's what the New York Times called it. Until its stock went up over 3,700%, thanks in large part to the 1980 tech shock. The other firm was Texas Instruments. Today, it's worth over $170 billion. Its stock is up over 9,000%.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. There is a huge upside.
Well, I'm not done yet. Let's talk about 1984 and what happened to AMD. Now, today, AMD is the world's second largest maker of computer chips, worth over $100 billion. Its biggest rival is Intel. Let's talk about 1984. It was tiny, just 1% of its price.
Then, yes, tech shock rocked the market and changed everything.
Right, you're catching on, Chris. In 1984, Intel got, quote, caught off guard by chip delays. Tech world soon found itself in huge trouble. Production of electronics fell, prices soared. Companies were so desperate to secure a new supply of chips, they actually tried to buy Intel to increase its production, but Intel was maxed out. They couldn't produce a single chip more. All hope was lost until AMD, this small company most hadn't heard of before, stepped up and did something remarkable. AMD started, get this, filling Intel's orders for them. Can you imagine? Are you kidding me?
And that'd be like some tiny car maker making Toyotas right now. Or that giant company.
It's insane. Building, and it was genius. Because number one, how could Intel refuse? And number two, AMD was so successful at doing orders, the tech shock in 1984 was over as soon as it started. Before winter hit, the world went back to normal. And today, of course, AMD is a giant company. Do you see what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing big picture.
This isn't just about some one-off example from 1999. The examples keep going and going. We don't have time to list all of them, but the big takeaway is this. Every time this tech shock hits, it shakes the foundations of the tech world. It rewrites what we think we know. Small companies become big, and big companies become small. And today it's happening again. The twist, because this newest tech shock is bigger and faster and more severe than anything that we've ever seen.
Now, what makes you say that?
Well, first of all, look around this. The signs are everywhere, unlike the 80s and the 90s when many homes didn't even have a computer in them at all. Computer chips are in just about everything. Now, what makes you say, in fact, unlike the 80s or 90s, we are all as reliant on them as electricity. They're in our toothbrushes now. And it's not just me saying this. In a 250-page document, issued by our federal government on this exact topic. They call computer chips, quote, essential to modern day life. It's easy to see why they say so. Computers and the chips they run on are all over the place. And think about it. You wake up first thing in the morning.
Well, in my case, I make some coffee, check my email,
Chips. Then what?
wake up the kids, hop in the car, go to a job, maybe listen to some satellite radio on the way.
More chips. I don't mean to belabor the point, but just about everything that we do relies on this tiny piece of technology. When you check out a book at the library or download an ebook, when you fire up the TV and watch Netflix, maybe hot dinner in the oven or microwave, when you put laundry, turn on the air conditioning, when we do a FaceTime video call with our grandparents, take a simple blood test in the doctor's office, even when we buy a bag of chips from the store or from a vending machine. Chris, I think you get my point.
So even potato chips are powered by computer chips. It really is stunning, and you brought it into focus here when you think about how far we have come, and as you said, how reliant we are on these tiny square wafers. Even
And that literally just scratched the surface. Consider the near future. The tech that's coming next will make current demand look quaint in comparison.
I know. A few years ago, I couldn't even imagine cars would be driving these things.
And now, subprime cars are everywhere. I've been in them myself. They're poised to soon hit 30 million total on the road over the next decade.
Just it feels like so much of the world is moving faster than ever before.
Well, it's like tech breakthroughs are happening faster these days because they are. Computing power used by artificial intelligence, Chris, jumped 300,000 times just from 2012 to 2018. You can see on the graph what appears to be a straight vertical line.
That is incredible. It is, just like you said, it's straight up, vertical line.
That is the kind of progress we're now living through. 5G wireless technology to machine learning to 3D printing to advanced robotics, cryptocurrencies, new technologies are transforming our world in ways we can barely comprehend. Faster than possibly fathom. Every single one of them relies on thousands of computer chips and functions. Just one of these chips is in short supply is a problem. And if many of them go missing for too long, it all adds up to a tech shock unlike any we've seen before.
All right. So, Jeff, would it be fair to, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it fair to say this shortage is not going to end anytime soon? What happens now? What's the next step?
Well, as this chip shortage worsens in the days ahead, I believe not only will car and consumer product shortages grow larger, not only will soaring demand for tech put even more strain on the chip supply, this is going to be much, much more painful for people who do not now.
I'm almost afraid to ask, Jeff, but how do you mean it's going to get worse?
Well, it's bad enough to have a shortage of pickup trucks and car parts. Imagine a mass shortage of air conditioning and heating units. Imagine you have to break it down and no one can fix it, and no one can sell you another one. Imagine what will happen as this hits medical devices. Chris, ventilators, scanners and EKG machines, pacemakers, because that's where this is headed. Already the supply of new heaters and air conditioning units is strained. Medical manufacturers like Philips are warning they will soon be forced to halt production of devices used to treat cardiac arrest. And as these chip companies have admitted, this shortage isn't fleeting. This could last, best case scenario, for years. According to Intel, several years. Look, this is real and it is very serious.
Well, Jeff, I'm definitely convinced. I'm so glad you're here to tell us about all this. But what does someone watching right now do about this? How can we know how to respond? What do we do right now?
Well, a common sense solution.
Yeah.
Look, if you need a laptop for work, maybe consider buying another as a backup. Take 5 minutes, sit down with a pen and paper, and ask yourself, what electronic device might not be so valuable? That recovered. The way these shortages are appearing, you could be waiting months for this advice, or you could be forced to pay through the nose to get something as soon as possible. Think about your household. Your heater or air conditioner is on its last legs. I recommend replacing it right away. If you're thinking about getting a blood test as soon as possible, close watch for investments because it goes without saying you don't want to risk losing money.
Right. Yeah. Like the 90% drop that you mentioned with Motorola.
Right. You do not want to repeat that experience. So I put all my research into an easy to follow report so you know exactly what to do next. The first step, take a position in the company's poised to become the next generation of tech shock winner. Remember, past tech shocks have delivered gains like 875%, 2,900%, 3,700%, even over 9,000%. In some cases, in as little as 1 year. And without the right research, you have nearly zero chance of finding these opportunities. But for a brief time today, you have a chance to make the right moves because a former semiconductor executive with years of experience identifying breakout investments in stock and crypto markets, I've identified a select group of companies playing this tech shock in brilliant ways. One of which Forbes calls the center of the global chip shortage. Why? Because it possesses very special technology and over 13,000 patents that holds the key to solving this mess. Now, I believe any company that wants to make leading-edge computer chips, including the ones in this portfolio, must go to this company first. You've probably never even heard of its name, but when this is all said and done, in my estimate, this company can go down in history as the one that saved the day. And that's just one of the several companies in this portfolio, which my research indicates are on the brink of an absolute explosion. This is like what we've seen in the past. Now, I've written down their names and stock symbols in a special downloadable report titled The Tech Shock Portfolio Companies to Buy Now.
All right. So let me see if I got this right here, Jeff. You're saying a single company could solve this problem?
Essentially, yes, with the help of several other key players.
And you've written them all down for us based on what's happened before when companies get a tech shock right. 2,000% gains, 3,000%, 9,000%. Where can we find this report?
Well, I'm going to show everyone how they can get it in just a moment. First, let's cover the next two steps you take. Step 2, while past shocks created wealth for some, they destroyed it for others and sent the juggernaut Motorola, for example, plummeting by 90%. Remember, Motorola survived the tech shocks in both 1984 and 1988. That didn't save it. I want you to think what it must have felt like being a Motorola shareholder who bought in 1999, watching your money pile up into a substantial nest egg, and then all of a sudden evaporate before your eyes. Because I believe the same thing will happen again this time with a twist. And today, our world is a very different place than it was 20 years ago, and the damage of this latest tech shock is set to get harder and impact more people than ever before. So you're going to want to pay close attention to the names of the companies in this second report I prepared, the tech shock casualties, companies to avoid and steer clear. One of them is considered among the safest stocks on the market, and you may very well own it right now, but let me be clear, I believe it is a time bomb, and it could be on the verge of being decimated by this tech shock. I've written its name and a list of other companies to stay away from in this report.
Okay, so we've got the companies to buy, the companies to avoid. What's next?
Well, that brings me to the final piece of research I'd like to share with you today. You see, as we speak, there's another kind of shortage spreading right alongside the chip shortage, and it's going to be a huge tailwind for the right tech stocks. Well, I'm talking about a labor shortage.
That's right, labor shortage. I know unemployment's always a big concern, but normally it's because of a job shortage. This time we're talking about a worker shortage, right?
And we've rarely seen this happen before. But today, something very strange is going on in the labor market. A lot of people are choosing just to opt out, not work at all, despite employers doling out signing bonuses and lavish benefits like health insurance. The CNBC reports there are about 1 million more job openings than people looking for
work. How do you even like?
Well, whatever the reasons are behind this, the key thing to understand is millions of people are refusing to show up for work, hospitals, to retail, to restaurants, and this great resignation, as it's called, is only fanning the flames of the chip shortage. Think about it. Say you own a fast food restaurant and you can't find help. What are you going to do? Just give up? Go home? If you want to stay in business, you have one real choice: automation.
Which is to say, computers doing the jobs that people won't do.
Right. You may have noticed these order kiosks springing up across the country.
Sure.
This one is in a nearby McDonald's. They take the place of cashiers, and people tend not to like them anymore because they get every order right. And in the kitchen, we're seeing new automation technology rolled out to replace burger flippers.
AI in the kitchen.
Well, one example is a burger flipping robot called Flippy. It's being tested at key locations across the country, and this tech or something like it will quickly take over the fast food industry. It never calls in sick, it's never late, it never has issues with human resources, tested, and it works for just $3 an hour. And what do these devices need in order to operate?
Chips, right?
So with the advancement of AI and computing speed, with 1 million unfilled positions in our labor market, and I expect that number will only grow larger from here, what will happen is those human workers and menial jobs will soon be replaced by robots. The chips that run those robots, whether it's fully automated robotic farms powered by drones and sensors, machine vision replacing assembly line workers, or AI discovering medicines all on its own, to the point that even biology PhDs are now being born to get to grips with what AI can do and consider new lines of work.
Really. Even PhDs are being automated. Is nothing safe anymore?
Even PhDs, Chris, this mass automation of labor is ramping up much faster than most realize, and it is set to drive computer chip demand even higher. And investors position themselves in the right companies today to make a fortune. That's why I'm preparing a portfolio of companies that I consider the very top players in this space. You'll find everything inside a third research report titled The Age of Automation.
Great. So there we have it. 3 steps, those 3 reports. Jeff, I know for a fact a lot of our viewers are probably wondering how they can get
You'll find
access
everything
to
inside
all of
these
these fantastic research, potential tech shock leaders, potential users, and the companies leading the way on automation.
Well, the good news is they can get all 3 of these reports right now for free just by trying out my newsletter called Here.
So for anyone who hasn't heard about this before, can you tell us a bit more about the report, what it is, and how it works?
Of course, Chris. The Near Future Report is my flagship financial research service, and I created it because, as we've discussed here, technology today moves faster than we can keep up with. And if you've ever wondered if the playing field was tilted towards Wall Street, I can tell you 100% those suspicions are correct. The kind of information I have access to is far beyond what the average person sees in the mainstream press. In the past, by the time you hear about a major tech trend, it's just too late. The market already shot up. Profits were gone, and only insiders like me had a chance to profit. That is where the Near Future Report comes in. Every month, I publish a new issue, and I explain what's going on in the bleeding edge of the tech world, and then identify one or more companies and set the profit from. So you get a chance to hear about and invest in the biggest tech trends long before the average person.
Yeah, I need to repeat this. I know that you recommended Bitcoin just $240. That was 6 years before Wall Street banks even started buying it. And that gave your readers a chance at 270 times. And looking at your record overall, you were one of the first analysts in the world to cover 5G. I know you recommended the number 1 returning tech stock in 2016, 2018, 2019, and 2020. You picked another chip company, NVIDIA, in 2016, and it has since exploded as high as 500%. That is enough to turn every $10,000 to go another challenge. This is incredible. Looking at your model portfolio as of late August, I've noticed every single one of these 5G, AI, and cryptocurrency picks heads up. 19 positions, and they are all winners. And not small winners. Some are already up as high as 400%, 500%, 600%, even as we speak.
Well, thanks, Chris. I'm very proud of the success we've had and continue to have.
Yeah, you should be. You know, we actually requested access to your feedback from readers, and I have to say it was very, very impressive. I can share some of that. Most of them who took the time to write in are thrilled. Let me read some of this to you. Daniel wrote in to say, I've been a subscriber to the Near Future Report for 3 years now, and you have changed my life. You are the best mind when it comes to technology investment I have ever seen, and I was blessed with it, giving me the opportunity to see before expertise. I can tell you truly care about people and want to see us successful. That is we got one here from Nader, who writes, Jeff, I am truly thankful for all you and your team do for your subscribers. This year has been horrific for many. You and your team have been my silver lining. I pray that more people find a gift like this. And then we have one from Joel. Joel writes, my dad trades with you too, and we have been constantly singing your praises. We so appreciate your vast experience, your wisdom, and your heart to help the world. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Wow.
Your reaction.
Well, thanks, Chris. I'm proud to say that many of my readers believe so strongly in my research that they've signed up as lifetime members of the Near Future Report, and as lifetime members, they're able to pass their subscription down to their heirs. So I'm not just working for them, but for their families too.
Jeff, it just sounds terrific. How much does something like this cost?
Well, in Wall Street, this sort of research can cost well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. But I've been fortunate. I made my money. I don't need or want you to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars. What I'd like to do instead is to sort of crowdsource research. So instead of charging a 5 or 6 figure sum to a handful of major clients, put tens of thousands of screens price down to as much or reasonable level. Typical price for all of my analysis and every recommendation in the Near Future Report is just $199 a year,
which is a lot lower than many expect, including myself.
And sometimes when I see a truly transformative opportunity like this, I like to go one better. So today, for folks watching right now, I worked out a deal with my publisher. And
I have that deal with me. Okay, just take a look through this real quickly. I'm sorry. You're not kidding. This is beyond generous. All right, folks, I have received confirmation that when you try Jeff's research today, you won't pay $199 to join, or $100, not even $75. Instead, when you order the special link that you're going to see, I think, beneath this presentation momentarily, you're going to pay just $49 for an entire year of the Near Future Report. Again, that's 12 issues, all of Jeff's monthly analysis, and of course, all 3 of the special reports we talked about.
And I want to point out, Chris, you can try the Near Future Report at my risk, not yours. Your purchase is backed by my 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. You can check out my research for 60 full days, and if it's not for you, please just call up my Florida-based broker, and they'll issue a full 60 days.
Wow, even more great news. So let me take a moment and recap all of this. Folks who respond today are going to be in for a real treat here. Instead of the typical $199 price, they're getting in for just $49. You're going to get all of your research on the Tech Shock, including the 3 reports you mentioned. Folks who use the Tech Shock portfolio, the Tech Shock casualties, I think that's what you call it, and the Age of Automation, plus access to your monthly research letter, the Near Future Report, and you're saying all of this is covered by a 60-day money guarantee.
That's right. But Chris, you did leave one important thing out.
I always do. What was that?
The trend I shared with you today is just one of several uncovered in the Near Future Report. So, for folks who sign up today, they're also going to get full access to my complete library of back issues and special reports, including my #1 pure 5G play, how to make a tax-free fortune from cryptocurrencies, and the #1 stock behind quantum computing. These are all yours, free as soon as you join the Near Future Report. Along with full access to our model portfolio, My goal is to make it as simple as possible for you to follow along each month so we put every single buy, sell, and hold recommendation into a portfolio. That's where we track performance and update you on a buy or take.
Well, Jeff, this sounds like a remarkable offer. How can folks at home join your future report right now?
All you need to do is click the button you see on your screen. That will take you to our sign up page where you can review everything we've discussed so far and secure your benefits.
It sounds like remarkable. Folks, to repeat, Jeff is offering all of this to you. Everything you see on your screen right now, and it's just $49 if you order right now. Normally, this does cost much more. Would you say $200, almost?
Correct. On my publisher's website, the Near Future Report costs $199 per year, but if you click the button below, you get instant access for just $49.
Right. So everyone, again, you can access Jeff's offer by clicking the button that you see on your screen right now. That will take you over to the secure order form where you can claim that special 75% discount. I hate to say this, but we are running out of time. And Jeff, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the program. And I'll tell you what, before we sign off, anything else you'd like to add, please?
Yes, Chris, there is one more thing I'd like to say. And if you don't mind, I'm going to speak directly to everybody at home. Folks, you have a choice in front of you right now, a choice that every American will face soon, whether they realize it or not. Option one is ignore what you're seeing in the news. You can ignore what you're seeing all across the country, across the world for that matter. You can ignore everything you've seen here today in this video and walk away. You can hope that there will be no consequences, that there will be no lasting effects caused by what may soon be known as the worst supply crisis in history. Frankly, I've been doing this for more than 30 years, and I can tell you, having seen this story play out over and over again, though never as bad as today, all the hoping and wishing in the world will not make this crisis go away. It will not make it any easier when this tech shock you and your family will not bring your money back. It will not give you a second chance. And fortunately, you do have another option. The option to act, to do what needs to be done to sidestep the worst of this and make the moves that have in the past multiplied investors' money by as much as 30, 40, even 90 times. You can act alone. You can try to navigate this yourself. You can spend 40 hours a week researching and planning and countless hours more implementing your strategy. Or, for what amounts to less than 14 cents per day, I leave that work. Join me, my staff of analysts and researchers, and my community of over 1 million successful readers who know and trust that I will do everything in my power to say. The choice is ultimately yours. You risk nothing by taking a look at my research right now. Have a full 60 days to look it over, and you get every dime back on your subscription. If you don't like it, you really have nothing to lose here. If I'm right, you have everything to gain. I hope to see you soon in the Near Future Report. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And Chris, thank you for inviting me here today.
Yeah, it has been an honor having you with us. It always is. I can't thank you enough for bringing this message to our viewers. This is far more serious than I really imagined. And I know that as soon as we're done here, the first thing I'm going to do is page through your research. If you're at home and you want to do the same thing, you can. You can access all of Jeff's research, including the 3 special reports on his tech shock series, the tech high portfolio, and shock casualties, and the age of automation. There's much to be excited about here and to leverage for our benefit. Plus a full suite of extra bonuses, including Jeff's #1 pure 5G play, how to make a tax-free fortune with cryptocurrencies, and the #1 stock behind quantum rise. Of course, I'll also include the full year of subscription to the Near Future Report, Jeff's flagship research service, and all of that for a record low price. You're going to get all of this and more at a 75% discount by clicking the button that you see on your screen. My advice: do it. Go ahead, click that button and get yourself in position for this tech shot. Don't wait. Do it right now so that you're ready, no matter what comes. Thank you all for watching. My advice: go ahead, click that button, get yourself want.
I'm a bad Tell me what you see. Perfect paradise, tearing at your seats. I wish I could escape. I don't wanna be. Wish I could erase. Make you all believe me. I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know it. Yeah, you know it. I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know you're free to go. I'm a bad liar. I'm a bad Si Ako B.
tawa sa mata away ng luha. Pinapili ko kung ikaw akong iiwan kahit ang gusto mong tawa sa mata away ng luha. Pinapili ko kung ikaw akong iiwan mawalagi akong mga problema. Sige na makitaan akong pangalaga. Pinapili ko kung ikaw akong iiwan kahit ang gusto mong tawa sa mata away ng luha. Ay, I did it the way you pretend not to care. I like the dimples on my corner, this is how they get. I like it for the world may know, but don't be scared, 'cause I'm falling deeper, baby, baby. I like it good, I like it things like the ladies. Favorite jacket just so I can always be there. I love you for so long, sometimes it's hard to swear. 'Cause I
Thank you to my ex. It's not about the sex, or the breakup was the best. Now I'm stronger, now I'm wiser, now I'm happier because I found a perfect love. Thank you to my ex. Oh, oh, oh. Wake up, we break down. Wake up, we break down. Wake up, we break down. We break down. Wake up, we break down. Wake up, we break down. Wake up, we break down. We break down. Thank you to my I'm stronger, growing wiser, growing back, yeah, 'cause I wanna look at love. Thank you too much.
Wake up, Bobby, break down. DJ Jordan. Beats Club. Wake up, Bobby, break down. DJ Jordan.
Ang mga bata, hindi kaayo, mga kauban, laging nagdagang talaga sa isunod isuman, pagkasinabot, isang hindi mga ulam, o bilang basta walang problema, mangitag paraan, para lang masumay, ang takal tao, ay linis sa kanapinan, ako nang ganun para magtipay, labi ng isunod at kami kayo sa paila, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata,
Beats Club.
asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata, ang mga mata, dito sa ayo, mga kauban, laging nagdagang talaga, isang sa isuman, makasinabot, isang mga uyab, o pinabas na walang problema, malitang paraan, para lang masubay, ang takal ay dito sa kanapinan, ako nang ganun para magtitay, lagi na lang isugat at kayo mo sa bahay, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata,
DJ Jordan. Beats Club. DJ Jordan.
Ang mga mata, hindi kaayo, mga kauban, laging nagdagang talaga, isunod sa isuman, makasinabot, isang hindi mga uyab, o bilang basta walang problema, malitang paraan, para lang masumay, ang takal tao, ay linis sa kanapinan, ako nang ganun para magtitay, labi ng isugat at kami kayo mo sa baila, asana, ang mga bata, asana, ang mga bata,
DJ Jordan. DJ Jordan. 멈추지도 잠든 넌 상상가 아무리 막아도 결국 널 곁친다 결국 그날을 이상 돌아가 너란 식으로 지금 다시 왼쪽으로
Watch UVA short videos on the YouTube app. Introducing the shorter side of YouTube, YouTube Shorts.
다시 연속 같아 하늘 높이 나는 넌 자꾸 내게 되돌아와 심장이 삼키게 되고 다 그대로 없이 떠오르기 위해서 난 너를 발견하고 기회했던 마음은 또 이렇게 너로 차올라 발걸음이 끝에 늘 믿어보죠 멈추기가도 잠든 널 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 널 곁친다 그거 그녀를 흐르네 이제 돌아가 너란 집으로 지금 다시 왜 이랬고
Kaya COVID. Tuyo mo sa balay, kung di ko gusto mamatay, baka na naglakay, naglang pa magumahay, kung wala ay kaunay, mangutusak sa kulay-itay, kung imanibay, kung pag-isok sa lagay. It's a beautiful night, first of all, pakinang tattoo. Sa balay, I think I wanna marry you. Naglakot si nanay kay nakitagay si tatay ng ayudan barangay Kipayuan tulungan ang ulit ka sa balay nagpahay si tatay ikatulog sa tatay nagluya ng ay Atay at COVID. Atay at COVID. Tuyo mo sa balay, kung di ko gusto mamatay, baka na naglakay, naglang pa magumahay, kung wala ay kaunay, mangutusak sa kulay-itay, kung imanibay, kung pag-isok sa lagay. It's a beautiful night, first of all, pakinang tattoo. I think I wanna marry you. Naglakot si nanay kay nakitagay si tatay ng ayudan barangay Kipayuan tulungan ang ulit ka sa balay nagpahay si tatay ikatulog sa tatay nagluya ng ay Atay ang COVID. Atay ang COVID.
You were everything to me. I was begging you, please don't go.
Watch yoga video ad-free and practice uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Go. And I said, Romeo, take me somewhere with you were everything to me.
Selamat